There's the numbers. Hey. Hi, everyone. My name is
Hi.
Bruce, and welcome to the Kai's Musings for the first day of Dinosaur Month. Kai, how are you today?
I am good.
Ah, sounds like a great day. This has been an interesting start of the weekend. Not start. The weekend started yesterday. I just slept through it. We've been having some hot weather down here. How have you been up in Illinois?
It's been rainy. Every once in a while, the sun comes out, and then the rain comes back.
Yeah, I see that. I'm not exactly certain what's going on over there. My parents are saying it's not so pleasant. It's great. It's going to be 49 tonight. And Dad's the next day like it rained again.
Unlike most people, I love it when it rains because then I don't need to put sunglasses on while I'm driving.
Yeah. So we had we've we got together 2 weeks ago, and didn't we talk?
No, we were off because you were busy working.
That's right. I was busy doing stuff.
Yeah, so we were off for a while.
Yeah, I was working 2 weeks ago. Holy shit! Yeah, that was the start of my hellscape that I had for yeah. Anyway, shan't talk about that nasty place. Rather friendly. I love my job. I just don't like it whenever I'm supposed to be here. You're on call. No, you're going to work now. So that was the week we had that, and I spent 12 hours on the clock that weekend, which isn't bad, split between 2 days, but it's the 12 hours that I was wanting to be in bed or wanting to be in front of this. So yeah. With that being stated, it's good to see you.
Yep.
This is a snake I've been working on. I know it's not that impressive, but I've
Looks
been
good though.
I've been trying to get her touched up and everything. Um, we also had a local event that some people were familiar about. This guy named Brandon Herrera, really great gunsmith. He released the AK-50.
Yes,
Did you see that?
I saw that.
That thing makes me so happy. Yeah, you all know I want one, but I'm not there yet. I don't think I know a lot of people that are there yet to have the AK-50 themselves, but holy cow, that gun looked amazing. And then Brandon Herrera had the atypical loss of political opponents that are going against the establishment. They just lose by just a little amount. It's really weird in the Southwest here. It's like only like less than 1% of people they get trounced by. So, yeah. Kai, hope you all are hanging well. Good to see you, Kai. Forgot I have navy beans and eat cooking. Yes, I know the feeling. My stomach just growled. Freaking trounced Eugene like a bitch too. He's had bad weather. Bad weather's been going everywhere, but mainly here. The bad weather for us is just hot weather, premature hot weather. Right
No,
now,
we've got bad farming weather. I feel bad for the farmers.
I don't even think we have farmers around here anymore. It's like 88 from the start of June, and that's where it begins. It goes up from there. We had a little bit of rain, a little bit, not much, yesterday. I was in Eagle Pass for that. Rained a little bit, got my windshield wet, and then as soon as I got done with the windshield being wet, turned on the wipers, and 5 minutes later, it's over. It's completely done. Supposed to have a thunderstorm tonight. Then throughout the build up till Wednesday. Wednesday is a 100-degree day. Going to be mid 90s to 100. Rarely dipping down below 75. And then it stays at 100. Good. I just should just show you this. This is sad. Wednesday it turns 100. 99 on Thursday. Woo, not 100. 100 again. This is going to be like 2013. 2013 we had 100 days over 100.
Oof.
Oh yeah. Ooh. This is what we're forecasting for the next 2 weeks. And I expect it. I expect it to be mid-90s and above. But that's living in San Antonio.
Man, the highest it's going to get all next week is 85.
There's certain times I do miss Illinois weather. This is one of them.
God, we're actually going to have a pretty mild June, it looks like, so far. Oh, well.
Where did you post the bushes at there, Crafting Gamer?
Brushes. They're in the
the brushes.
miniatures brag. I post, and those are some really nice brushes for cheap as hell.
I bought 3 of them, 3 sets. I can't say no to that.
No, you really can't. And those are some really delicate brushes. Way cheaper than what I was looking at.
Yeah.
Today.
I wasn't expecting that.
Well, things we learn.
This is why it pays to have friends that got their ears open, because you might not be paying attention at some point on something, or you might not be aware of something. And then they say something like, hey, you need a set of really good brushes, and you have like deformed POS brushes like this, which you've had for over 1.5 to 2 years. And you're like, yeah, I could use some new brushes.
But you can always take a knife to it and cut it down to like 2 or 3 bristles. And have a detailing brush.
If I start cutting on my if I start cutting on my brushes, then at some point I know for a fact I'm just going to get a little bit too hog wild. Oops. Yeah, I could take that off.
Yeah.
Let me try that. Let me grab my knife. Have you been watching anything new lately? Or have you been staying away from media?
I've been staying away from media because honestly, nothing has really screamed, I have to watch it. I mean, I have a lot of things that people want me to watch. I really haven't had a chance to watch any of it. I mean, the best media I've watched this past week is, I think I curled up with the missus and we ended up just watching Lord of the Rings again, the entirety of it from start to finish, because we wanted to actually just watch something nice. And for the amount of money it costs to do anything anymore, it has to be worth it, worth our time. And nothing's been screaming at us saying, you gotta watch this, you gotta go see this. I'm like, no. I mean, to go watch a Netflix series means you gotta sit there and Netflix, Amazon, whatever the heck other system, you're going, do you want to spend 8 to 13 hours watching something dumb that's going to insult you, or do you just want to go watch Return of the King again? I'll watch Return of the King again because I like that movie. I mean, we just preferred to watch that, and like I said, nothing's really screamed at us saying I have to watch this. And if the nerd circles all of a sudden all explode and say, you gotta watch this, and I see it's on like 5 YouTube channels and everyone's going, no, you gotta watch this, and I'm like, no, I guess I gotta watch this because if 5 or 6 sources I trust, and when I say trust, I don't mean the rage click, I'm here to to farm outrage clicks, like I'm here to give my opinion on if this is properly woke or not. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Is it a good movie? Or is the message? I don't care. Is the movie good? I mean, if I could watch shitty 70s grindhouse flicks about throwing dead bodies into crackers, I think I could put up with whatever message you're going to tell me in some bullshit movie if the movie's good. I mean, if I'm going to go watch a bunch of people wearing Rubber Monkey Mask tell me that war is bad, I'll watch it. But I'm not going to spend I'm not going to spend $40 to go take, me and the missus out to a movie to go watch a movie that's disappointing. I'll watch Godzilla Zero because that's interesting. That was a good movie. But I'm not.
Okay, which one happens first, -1 or 0?
Sorry, it's -1. It's -1. Sorry, I meant to say, I said 0. It's -1. -1's awesome, and it's a great movie, and I'm glad I got to see it in theaters. But I'm not going to go watch a prequel to a movie. I'm not going to go watch Furioso, Fury Road, Mad Max movie. No, I don't. I didn't mind watching the last one, but it also was 8 years ago and in the distant past, and I don't want to go watch a beanpole stick girl and Hobo Max go out there and have adventures in desert land, and I don't care. I don't need an origin story for a character I didn't care about, and so I didn't go see that movie. And I'm not looking forward to any movies, honestly, right now. Like, there's nothing that's screaming, I've got to watch this. And I know there's some people who are trying to build up, you got to go and watch this new movie that's, this new series coming out. I'm like, no, I don't. I don't have to watch this because it's insulting. I don't want to watch it. And I'm just kind of sitting back now and going, I don't want to watch any of these movies anymore. And just, that's the sad truth of it, is I don't really want to watch anything. And that really is a sad truth there. I'd rather watch a British guy droll on for an hour and a half about naval history on his weekly quality Q&A stream, which is the length of a movie, and then watch something that Hollywood vomits at me. I'd rather go watch an Australian do a PowerPoint presentation about the military-industrial complex every Sunday than to go watch a movie. Because honestly, unless it's something really cool like Fallout, which has moments good and bad. I mean, it was a fun show. I really wasn't I'm not going to go out of my way to. The reason why I watched Fallout was simply because of the fact that I had people I trusted in real life, not YouTubers, not influencers, telling me, no, it's actually good. And then the final straw was having somebody who actually is intelligent go, it's a Bethesda Fallout series. And I'm like, so it's, New Vegas is kind of canon, but you got to accept certain things aren't going to happen the way that you liked. And then we got into the wonderful world of lore, and we went, oh, this isn't so terrible. And it wasn't, and it turned out to be this is an enjoyable series. And like any Fallout game, you watched it, and then you just move on with your life because, hey, that was cool. And because Bethesda sucks. And I'm not going to give them more than I have to. The only reason why I watched it was because I'm not paying for Amazon Prime. Somebody else is, and I'm using their account. Yay. If I had to pay for it, I probably wouldn't watch it. But I got it for free. So, hey.
I never liked Fallout 3. I didn't get into Fallout New Vegas, although everybody and their brother's like, oh my God, it's the best Fallout ever. And my favorite Fallout's still Fallout Tactics.
Yeah. Which is according to Bethesda, not canon anymore.
That doesn't matter what they think. They ruined the fucking Fallout series. So there's not a Fallout game after Fallout Tactics.
Right. And it's like, but the thing is that it looks right, it feels right, things are dumb, and it's just a nice, relaxing ride to sit back and go, nah, this is Fallout. And then but you're right. At least it's not Skyrim. I'm glad we'll never get an Elder Scrolls movie. Thank the fucking maker there.
The Fallout, and then the Elder Scrolls movie starts, and fucking 15 minutes in the Act 2, like after we get like the reason for Act 1 starts, it's a blue screen error. That's just what I could see turning into Fallout or into Fallout or Elder Scrolls. But Elder Scrolls would happen worse because every time I've ever looked at a new Elder Scrolls game, the reviews always are like, great game, very buggy.
Well, yeah, it's the creation engine. I mean, it's sad. The best part, like, look, I want an authentic Bethesda movie, a game movie where I want you to be able to. It looks beautiful. You walk in, awesome music, and then suddenly you see a guy gliding in a T-pose through a wall, and you're just like, this is normal. Like, and nobody pays attention. Every actor does what they're supposed to do. You know, they're still saying their lines, and then in the background you see a guard just kind of just vibrate through a wall, and nobody pays attention. Nobody acknowledges it. It just happens. And then in the background later on, you know, an episode or two later, and you see a dragon in the background in the sky breakdancing as it falls through a mountain.
You know, we play a lot of games like Dungeons and Dragons, and back in 1993, they had an official rag for Dragon magazine. It was official rag at TSR basically, and they had this neat little article of spells dragons actually use. And there was a third level spell, Phantasm, Illusion Phantasm Scroll or School. It was called Phantasmal Farce. Oh. And you cast it on yourself or on another subject, and it would cause the image to have glitches visually, and the audio wouldn't sync up. So basically, like a dragon would be flapping and it'd be missing frames of animation, or be skipping frames of animation, or flip itself upside down. And so people would think like it's a phantasm, it's an illusion.
Right.
And like the dragon would have its mouth shut and you'd hear a roar, then its mouth would open and you'd see it roar, but it wouldn't hear it. So Phantasmal Farce was like one of my favorite fucking illusion spells for decades. And it's still, I bring that spell out whenever I have an asshole dragon.
That's good.
And like, there was a dragon that I took, a red dragon figurine from Paizo's collection, which I hate giving money to Paizo, but okay, you got a huge red dragon, I'll buy it. I painted it white. And about a year ago, I ran that, and the players looked at it, and I said, oh yeah, the dragon's kind of acting a little weird. And he was using multiple spells on him. He had one spell to change his draconic color, so the enemy would buff themselves against like whatever color he chose, and then he used Phantasmal Farce, and so I had a double layer of phantasm spells on there, and the players were completely pissed at me because I did that to them, and I never quite gave them those spells because I just felt like those were just kind of special. They also didn't take the time to learn, because I think this party has really got a problem with wizards. Like, Greg tried playing a wizard character or as his cohort, but he hated it. He hated having a second character. He hated having to do the minutia of it. I think that's why he quit. The minutia and the role play are why he quit the game. But it's just one of those things where, as a DM, I really just enjoyed being able to run illusion phantasm spells, because I just like Pathfinder, as much as our game tonight was hack, because we're in a location where you're supposed to kill things. It's analog Diablo. As much as it was that, the players enjoyed themselves, which I thought was nice. I was not expecting them to enjoy themselves, and I felt like I should reward them because I don't want to have 14 encounters, 14 individual encounters where the party of 6 or 7 kills off 1 or 2 dwarfs. I just didn't feel like that was worth it. So I condensed part of it. This dungeon that I'm running is based off a dungeon that was written by Adventure a Week, and sometimes their stuff is just middling at best. I hate to say that, but there's some publishers that just really never achieve much. These guys have achieved a lot with certain products. This is not one of their highlights. I like the designer of this one. He seems like he's at least level-headed. He talks to people, but I don't like this dungeon because it's got too much of a early 3.0 feel to it, where like you have a party that runs into a combat where there's 2 orcs, but the orcs have 30 hit points. So like now you're swinging and missing. When you finally hit, no, it doesn't drop. Got to do another round of combat. And I hate Pathfinder for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons I hate is just like sometimes the combats feel like there should be a better way to pass through them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because it's just like you're fighting an unnamed goblin or unnamed character of this race, this class, and you gotta physically beat him down. And I would like to have the players maybe sometimes not elect for violence, although violence is great, but at least try the parlay, try the discussion. And the module like completely eliminates any parlay whatsoever. But the way we set up tonight's campaign was the party had the option to try some other things, and they kept seeing like the roadblocks. Like, okay, well, I guess we're supposed to go in this dwarven network and kill stuff. And I kind of hate reading adventures like that. And then earlier this week, a friend of mine sent me something, and it's like I tell people all the time, like, if you don't like the way that you're reading things, you can always decide to write your own.
Right.
And you started doing that, and I got a chance to read your campaign kind of synopsis. Is this going to be like the base of your campaign, or are you going to make like a rules light way to do things? I mean, I don't see it being quote unquote real rules light, but I see it to where you've got a very nice detailed narrative of the events that happened led up to this, with a greatly detailed city, even if it is only 11,590 words, a 20-page document. Very rarely do you receive in a hardcover release, especially in the mainstream gaming press, a campaign city that has a history to it and a reason to adventure in it, and a feeling like you could dump your current campaign and just start playing this right now. But that's what this feels like.
The thing here is that city the city that's in that story, it's been around for a very. I think the part of what made it work is the fact that it feels like it's lived in, and it actually kind of existed, but before you got dumped into it, and that there was hints of there's so much more going on in this place that you're not seeing. I hinted at in the story the idea that this place was the equivalency to a magical Vatican that lost, but this happens after that point. So you're sitting here going, well, what have I done? I've pointed out that this is a city of the gods. This is but I don't go that into it. I tell like there's hints of people looking at statues to people that did exist in the past, but I don't have to tell you who they are or what they do or what they did. You just got to simply go, no, this is somebody who did exist. It's kind of like, oh God, the best way to describe. I know I just mentioned Lord of the Rings a little bit ago, but that part where when you're sailing down the river and you see the two giant statues that are old, decrepit, and they're flanking the pass. That's kind of what I've dumped you into what in the story I sent you. It's only 20 pages. It's a grand total of 2 days. The entirety of the events that I have detailed in that story is 2, 3, maybe 4 days total. From when shit goes wrong, when the story starts to story finishes, climax of story, then epilogue is a week later. And you get the idea that there are things that happen after this event that I don't go into. There are things that led up to this event that I don't go into because of the fact that what I've hinted at is that, no, so you have a city that zealots and religious nut jobs want to take. They want to hold it. At some point in the past, this place ruled like a hemisphere, or at least major island and land masses were dominated from this place. It hints I gave you the hints of this was the Western capital for a while for an entire magic kingdom, which is now gone. It leaves you wondering, wait, what was the Arcane Dominion? Wait, how did the Republic take this place? How did it surrender? Why is it and that point where you go, wait, why is this city under gun? Not just and why does an entire country fear this place existing to such a degree that they've wrapped this place in surrounded it in 12-inch naval guns in a giant ring of Verdun level fortresses. It's the Maginot Line wrapping this place around in the idea of, in the event that they ever have an uprising, that magic users ever have an uprising, we level the entire place with so much firepower, everyone inside dies. And you get this idea that I've also hinted at the idea of this is a magical place where we dump spellcasters that won't comply. Which means now you go, wait, so the military keeps spellcasters on a tight leash. The government keeps, and if you don't want to, operate under military discipline and under strict oversight by commissars and inquisitors, you are imprisoned in this city. And if you do, it's the only city in the entire country that allows you to openly practice magic however you want, but you better not leave the city. You better not attack anybody. You see somebody in military uniform and you attack them with spells, you better assume that you're about to get your ass, ass glassed, and by the internal police and the external police. But there's also this hint of there's still a paladin order that's in there that does its job. You also get the idea that it's 100,000 people crammed into this city of wonders, but I give you hints that there's a pantheon of shit that's in here. And the idea that there is an actual gate to heaven. The actual celestial heavens has a gate in this city. And everyone's afraid of this place. And zealots want to take this place. But they've never been able to because, well, the military spellcasters are so damn good at their job. But then something happens. Something terrible happens, and it makes it so that way there's no magic. And what happens when everybody? Because I also hit the idea that this is a world where magic is fucking everywhere. It's common as heck. And then suddenly, because it's a high fantasy world. It's a D&D Pathfinder universe where, of course 3/4 of the entire everybody is a spellcaster. If you're somebody or anybody, you cast spells. You depend on spells. You depend on magic and magical items and benefits and buffs, and you just know how to do everything. And then suddenly someone comes along and goes, you have none of it. Wait, what? Something terrible happened and everything magical stopped. Wait, what? Unless you have some kind of horrible demonic pact, which is powering your abilities, some external source, any ambient natural source of magic is gone for a while. And then watching people freeze up and go, wait, what? I can't do. Just think about every player character you've ever seen. The moment that you walk into an anti-magic zone and watch that player go, they sound like retards. They're like, suddenly they have nothing. I don't know what to do if I don't have my ability to cast with spells. And I don't have my magic items. I don't know. What do I do? Because they don't know how to act without magic. And I tried to convey that in the story about the idea of what happens if your entire combat style, your entire way of training, thinking, logic is about, well, I cast a spell. Or I can do magical wonders. I can shape the earth at a whim. I can block bullets. I'm invincible. And then suddenly you're not. And then you eat an 8mm Mauser round to the forehead. Wait, what? And then suddenly, because in the story that actually happens, where an all-powerful wizard, commander is just like, I'm an all-powerful wizard. I'm a complete and total. Oh wait, what do you mean I don't have magic? And then eats a bullet to the forehead, and then drops like a sad sack of meat on the ground. And then watching all the little NPCs that all those little peons, those little schmucks that those level 1, level 2, level 3 minions suddenly go, oh shit, our leader is dead. Oh fuck. Morale broken, run like fucking hell. Because, if your entire strategy is, well, we've got a guy who can open up trenches in the earth and make revertments by merely shaking, waving their hand and then casting wind walls that make us immune to bullets while we shoot out. We're invincible. We can hold off the zealots. And what do you mean our tactics don't work no more? What do you mean the EMP went off and we don't have GPS anymore? What do you mean our missiles don't work? What do you mean things went wrong? And then suddenly things go bad. And then trying to convey the sense of terror and fear that's now running through people who thought they were invincible or thought they could hide behind a hero, and then the hero dies. And then watching people get very, very fucking desperate. And did I convey that well in the story?
I thought you did. I thought you did a really good job with this. I would like this to be something that you focus on.
I would like to. The problem here is I am not sure where I write small vignettes. I don't know where to go from here. I don't know who to focus on. I don't know because the problem here is that the story I sent you, I had something like around 5-6 major characters, and a couple of them get killed off, and I'm kind of going, who would I focus on if I was to continue the story in either forwards or backwards? Because honestly, most of them were just people who were there, and outside, like the gun crew, they went on to go run a mobile railway gun. The paladin commander and the cowardly lieutenant who finally got his balls together at the end went off to become paladins, and eventually the old man retires. It dies of old age because he's a human, and by the point in time where you guys played in the one shot, the little lieutenant was the actual that little lieutenant Queso. He was actually the paladin like the leader of the paladin order. By the point that 35 years later, when you guys were running around, he would have been like one of the people who would have been. I would have probably gone up to the president after the coup and gone, figured out where he would stand, in the post-coup universe. So that was one thing I never got a chance to do, was to have the, to go, yeah, hey, look, this guy, this little guy who was a cowardly lieutenant at one point is now a badass old paladin who's now, who's scarred up, been beaten around because he's had 35 years of fighting between then and now, and he'd be the one in the giant power, the giant magical armor with the giant sword and shit, and he'd be the one showing up and going, I'm here to go figure out whatever the fuck you guys want to do, because whatever the president would have come up with, he would have been there, been like, okay, where do I fit into this? Because I'm not under your command, but I'm under your command. Figure out where I fit. And I would have had that been a wonderful way to test Shadow on his. He's supposed to be an inquisitor, a magical psychop who's playing the president, and then having somebody who's a magical badass show up there and tell him and go, and be there to go, no, I'm here to just to figure out, and be like, here's a quandary, Bester. Which way do you let the magic, do you go against decades of training on being an inquisitor and being against the idea of free magic, or do you tell the paladin to get back in place? Or do you let him have free reign? What do you do, Mr. President? And that was one thing I was planning on doing, but I never got to.
Well, I like the fact that you've got some real shit happening around, well, actually, it all starts, once you pretty much get things moving in the first couple of pages. But page 14, 15, 16, where you have the avatars ripping themselves out of corpses, that's a lot of fun.
That was an aspect that that seed was planted a long time ago. It was an aspect that I never got a chance to go into, is the idea that each of the gods in my setting has technically they don't really there's a reason why I have heaven being run by a bureaucracy, because the actual gods who are supposed to be running the whole world aren't there. They fucked up. They're banished to the planet, and they have to walk around in mortal form. They technically are in two places at once, but they're mostly stuck in human bodies, and they're supposed to be secrets. There's one. Each god has a human body, and there's a knight whose job is to protect it. And in the story, I hinted at well, I didn't really hint, but there was the Avatar and their knight who was there. Most of the time they hide it because of the fact that one of the key facts is that when the vessel dies and the Avatar is freed and allowed to, the gods allowed to walk the earth, the dying vessel gets one wish, their last imparted desire is imprinted upon the Avatar upon when released. And that was the whole reason why in the story I had the zealots had managed to find one and find a pair, and then pretty much beat them and torture them and pretty much break them mentally. I didn't get a chance to go too deep into that because the idea was the entire idea was to get those two poor fucking souls into the city, kill them, and then impart the last wish upon the god is in protect the city. We hold it. We know it's about to get blasted and get nuked. So we're going to, import the last wish upon the god is to go, hey, this is your power. Protect, defend the city. And give us the win we want. Well, that didn't happen in the story because oopsie doodles. There was actually already one there, and it decided to use her last wish was to I'm going to murder as many of you motherfuckers as humanly possible because she was the god of death. She was the vessel for the gods of death, and proceeded to just murder hobo everybody. And the zealots go, well, we're not going to win this one. Go stop the rampage. And I don't know how to describe the kaiju fight between two gods in a good way. I don't know how to describe it.
I dig it. I'd like to see more of it. And the way you describe a kaiju fight between two gods is literally just describe how they go at it against each other at the cost of everything surrounding them.
But the thing was I didn't want to take away from the fact that it's supposed to be a very human fight. Because the way the story was portrayed, it's like I wanted to get the idea that it's people going, just doing it, like doing the hard work. And I didn't want to have it be a one-sided, we just use a magical option and the problem's solved. No, I wanted it to be, it worked because it allowed me to finish buying the amount of time I needed to have the rescue happen. And there was that build up to that moment of, when help finally gets there. And that's what I was hoping I was conveying.
Like Saturday of last week, we got a chance to play.
Yeah.
And the party is fighting on Archeron still. And they get to the forge. The forge has two elder elementals standing in these lava flow tubes that are vertically coating them the whole time. And the elementals are kind of like heating up the entire forge of to be proper so they can make the weapons. But now the work is done and they're just kind of like lingering just to hang out in the lava flow area. The party's there, and I make them mention that, it's about 140 fucking degrees here. It's really hot. You guys are at negatives. And they're like, well, we got Endure Elements on. And I'm like, what? Endure Elements covers you up to 140 degrees. And I didn't realize that. Otherwise, we'd be like, no, it's like 160 degrees. Oh, no, then we would just amplify. We would magnify it. We would, God, you and your gay-ass magical workarounds. This is a planar adventure, and you're trying to use a first-level spell to mitigate that.
Mm-hmm.
As a GM, I want to completely flatten your character just to piss you off. And it kind of pissed me off, so I rescinded it later. I'm like, it was actually 160 degrees. You should have been taking higher penalties, no big deal. But you guys did win. You used damn near all your high-level spells. You had a massive fight. Congratulations, you did win, blah, blah, blah. Except for the fact that you did not stop them from forging the weapon. The weapon got made, and the weapon was given to its intended target. You'll see it later. Because you guys drug on this side quest. People decided not to be here, or lackadaisically, didn't want to be in. And whenever it's convenient for me, then we can do it. My job calls. I got to work. I'm sorry, but it just kind of frustrated me because, we've been in that plane for 6 to 8 Saturdays. I just really wanted it to be done over with a side quest, less than 3.
Right.
And they doubled the amount of time there. Oh, we have to train. Well, we leveled up. We got to go train now. Sorry. I was getting my autism back. It was causing my eye to twitch. I didn't mean for that. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. No, but I think if I was I don't know if I would be able to write the. I kind of want to write the whole world up, but I kind of want to redraw everything and read. If I was to actually write and publish anything like this, I would want to scrub the world really, really hard to get rid of the. Let's be honest, all the plagiarism that when you're just playing with friends, when you're just giving stuff for your friends, you can just steal wholeheartedly. I mean, I've jokingly referred to the fact that the map of the world I drew is legitimately just a different map from a different universe, from a different world that I just turned upside down. And nobody noticed for a very long time until somebody came along and went, wait, is that New Guinea in the corner? I go, yeah, it is New Guinea in the corner. Like, it's literally just New Guinea. I go, yeah, it's New Guinea in the Solomon Islands, right there. It's just in the corner. Why is it there? Because I wanted a nice place in the middle of the ocean that people would want to go to, and nobody would go because it's in the middle of the fucking ocean. And they're like, oh, okay. And that point when more people realized, wait, this map looks familiar. I go, maybe I need to redraw this just a bit, just to make people go, okay. And then the other world, I'd have to the other world I don't have to redraw that much. That one's mostly mine, mostly, but I would have to change a lot, some details, just because of the fact that I don't want to make it 100% obvious where I stole everything from. Because the biggest problem would probably be most of the world is actually kind of original-ish, so that way I can get away with, going, most of you won't, most of it, people will just go, oh, okay, that's a nice little nod to the bison, to totally not Italy and Scandinavia. Okay, that's cool. Nobody's going to notice this thing here. That there's going to go, okay, cool. Armored Viking Death Knights. Okay, we're totally okay with this. That's cool. We like those. And they're living in an old empire. Okay, that makes sense. Dwarves over here. That's cool. Oh, these people over here. Totally cool. Change a few names because nobody needs to know. I need to know where that came from, and but there's this big, giant, throbbing fucking problem known as Rokugan. My the L5R campaign that started the entirety of my campaign world and story. I looked over there into the shadows and keep looking at this at this mass that I love to death. They're my people. They're my empire. And every once in a while, there's this part of me that goes, and it just kind of looks at me and goes, Father, why do you ignore us? Why do you forsake us? We're awesome. And I go, I know you are, but none of my players think so. And I don't want to just go, here's generic, not Japan. Maybe I can. And, at that point, everyone would just kind of go, oh, okay, it's totally not Japan. I know we just got through Shogun. So I just go erase certain things. And then I have to go and erase certain things of like, well, now I got to change the name of the fortunes. And now I got to change the name of the Dark Lord. And now I got to change the Twilight Empire because, well, technically it has changed a lot. So I could, it's no longer the Emerald Empire, and I can change the clans over because it's been sufficiently long enough in time. And maybe I don't have to call them Rogani anymore. And maybe the cities can change their names because, it's been 1,500 years. Nobody actually still calls it by its ancient names anymore. And I could probably do a lot of that work, but I have to make. But at that point, I'm doing. I'm just be like rewriting the entirety of the lore, and it's like, what about the ancient past? Nobody fucking knows about the ancient past. It's lost. It's ancient. Are you guys playing archaeologists? We really haven't had time to do archaeology, right? Archaeology is a rich man's job when you have time and energy. And guess what we don't have? Time and energy. Why? Because the world keeps exploding every approximately 250 years. Man, someday the British Empire is going to come in here and rape the fuck out of everything. But luckily, every time that somebody even thinks they're the British Empire, something comes along and kicks their shit in. And we don't get a chance to have, man, I am from an ivory tower thing, and I'm going to go over to these ruins and then document them. And, well, it's strange. Nobody could speak ancient Japanese. That's fantastic. Man, if only we could find a translation stone. All of a sudden, five druids come out of the ground, beat the guy in the pit helmet up, and then send his body home in a glass box and say, "Don't come here again." Oh, shit. The natives are restless. And the tree just punched Bob into orbit. 3 campaigns later, his body lands. The hills of sea. Yes.
I remember this now. I just can't remember the name of it. I don't think it's a match good. I remember that Clive Barker was fucking crazy. Very interesting man. Very good writer. Wasn't the Great and Secret Show, was it? Gonna make me look up. Clive Barker. Holy cow, he's getting ancient.
They all are. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, we're reaching that point where people are just going to start dropping off soon.
It is Books of Blood, I think. Horror anthologies. There's 6 of them. In the first volume 1. Damn. He had 3 Books of Blood come out? Crap. I had those audio to the audiobooks I needed to listen to. Good thing about driving a lot, sometimes you get jobs like yesterday where you drive off like 140 miles to your destination and you get to listen to an audiobook all day.
I know. Some days I fly a desk. Some days I drive all day long and I chunk out half an audiobook in a day. It's great.
It's a lot of fun.
I know. And then there's certain books I know that will never get that I would love to see made as a movie, but they would never get made. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I don't need Clive Barker books made into movies. That's not what I said.
Oh, I know.
Well, books work better because of your imagination.
Oh yeah.
That's just all of it right there. I mean, I don't want to see I know the Lord of the Rings is like the exception to the rule. And actually, the way the Lord of the Rings movie comes out, where the Two Towers is most notably really different than the book. Like, there's some characters from Return of the King that don't really make it in the movie. And there's some instances where, like, things don't quite happen the way they do in Fellowship, in the movie. But I think the way the movie kind of just trims out some things. Like, if you want that extra topping, that extra slice of cake, you can go and read the book and have your extra slice of cake. And you just love it. But the way the books differ from the movies is really ingenious. And I know a lot of people are probably going to hate me for this, but I really like seeing the treants go after fucking trying to help defend the poor. Well, no, Gondor. Isengard, yeah. The way they went to defend Isengard was fucking crazy. And then the way that later on the treants were there helping stone fucking Sauron's tower, that was great too. I was completely entertained, even by the theatrical cuts, which weren't quote unquote canonical, but they were fun to watch.
Yeah. I just also know that no John Ringo book will ever get made into a movie, which is a shame, but they are always fun to read. So
you've mentioned John Ringo a handful of times here.
Yes. He is a great, great author. A little crazy, but that's okay.
You know, crazy's fine.
Yeah. He comes up with great books. He just has no idea how to ever finish one. Finish a series. Like, he gets bored and then walks the fuck away from it. And then you're sitting here going, and if he comes back to it, it's more like he's just punishing you all for asking for the end of the book. So he writes a really, really shitty fucking ending to the book series, and you're just kind of going, fuck, this is garbage. And then he's just like, whatever, you wanted the ending, I gave you an ending. Is it what you wanted? You know what, I'm going to ignore this book for the rest of the time, and I'm going to go read the other 4 books, because those were good. Just never touch never come back.
Well, I need to get a hold of A Hymn Before Battle, because I've not read John Ringo.
If you want a really good book that was written in 2008 but was very pertinent for how things proceeded, I would suggest The Last Centurion. The Last Centurion is a fantastic book by him. And then I would suggest the Black Tide Rising series. That entire endless series of books is just good. Just fucking good.
Start off with Under a Graveyard Sky.
Was that?
What? Start off with Under a Graveyard Sky?
Under a Graveyard Sky.
Okay.
There's 4 books in the main series, which is Under the Graveyard Sky, and then it carries on through. God, I have them all on the fucking shelf behind me. Yeah. Graveyard Sky. One second. Ah.
It makes me happy that he's prolific. There was this guy that I used to read called Jim Butcher, and he just stopped writing for a period of time, and I just never really got back into it.
Yeah. So Graveyard Sky, Sail a Darkling Sea, Strands of Sorrow, and Islands of Hope and Rage are the 4 main books. Then I would suggest Valley of Shadows and River of Night which have Mike Massa. And then there's all the anthology books that are all good. And then there's World's End. It's a really good setting, and it hammers home the idea that it's like, while I do like A Hymn Before Battle, which is the legacy of the Aldenata series, which is a good series. The problem here is that it's a little too Starship Troopers and too much wee-woo magical sci-fi tech. If you want to, I read a series about humans doing badass things against alien hordes. Fuck yeah. The Legacy of the Aldenata series is just a good series. Except for the final book by him, which is trash. Holy shit, is it trash? It wraps up all the various side books and plot lines, and then makes it full of wee-woo magical psionic bullshit that makes everything before it completely not important. It's like, what? Power armor was important? No, it's no longer important. What? These artillery guns that fire antimatter were good? No, they're useless now. What? these things that we have that were amazing. No, the new bad guys are all wee woo psionic death aliens who are so much better than the last alien horde that was attacking, and they're just going to be fucking amazing. And they're like, what the fuck is this shit? You just spent countless books talking about the main character and all the badassery that humanity is. That humanity is fuck yeah. It's humanity, fuck yeah. This is the best thing. We take alien tech, make it amazing, and murder. And then we send back letters that say there was a great killing. And we look at the windrows of dead bodies all over the place. Humanity is beaten to the edge of its survival and triumphs against the impossible. And now it's wee-woo magical psionic bullshit. I don't like it. Like, and what? All the cool things, all the cool characters that other authors added to the universe. No, they're all inept and useless sacks of shit. You don't need to worry about any of that. Nothing matters. It's all about wee-woo magic. Fuck. Needless to say, I hate that book. I love the series, hate the book. But I also like the fact that like Last Centurion. Okay, tell me if this sounds familiar. A strange flu virus leaves China, and due to cover-ups, causes a complete and total societal breakdown as 30% of the population dies in the world, or upwards of 60%. And oh shit, with the country collapsing in this horrible mess, what the fuck does this one guy, this poor fucking company of assholes who get left in the sandbox, to use a line from the book, congratulations, you are issued shit and comma stick one each, and he has to pretty much recreate the March of the 10,000, the Anabasis. It's the march from pretty much Persia to Istanbul with this, and against terrible odds, to escape back to the U.S. And that story is only 1/3 of the book. And it's because the entire book is told by him after the fact. He's a farmer. He's telling you that how society broke down, what he did in the military during the breakdown, and then what happens afterwards. It's a fantastic book. I think I've listened to it now like 7 or 8 times while I'm driving, because it's a damn good story. And because I also like the Anabasis by Xenophon, and which, by the way, if you know the Anabasis, you'll know that it's been copied by. Okay, bit of lore. The Anabasis is written. Let me get my copy of it. Actually, I actually have a copy. Oh, where's it at? There it is. Okay, so pretty much the Anabasis is written by Xenophon. He was a Greek mercenary who was hired by Persians to go and try to by a Persian usurper to help the usurper gets murdered and gets murdered, and now his 10,000 Greeks are forced to pretty much march from Persia back to Greece. And it's a very well written, it's a travel log. It's a journal that tells, in short, his entire travel from Persia back across the Bosphorus Straits. And this book was, he wrote so well that Alexander the Great would eventually pretty much use it as a handbook for his invasion of Persia. And it's how he manages to destroy Persia. So this is a great fucking material. You'll like, if you ever have a story of a bunch of badasses who are trapped deep behind enemy lines, and have to walk their way pretty much through impossible odds, across hordes. And so if you've ever read David Weber's March Upland series or the Empire of Man series. It's the Anabasis. It's 3 books that equals the Anabasis. It is just simply if you're trapped behind enemy lines and by resources, smart will, tactics, and just dumb luck, manage to make it out of terrible odds, it's the Anabasis. You've read it. Yes, but because it's such a damn good book, I've got a copy because so many other books are happily steal a great story. But it's also a fantastic book that was written, hundreds of years before Rome, pretty much. I mean, before Rome gets its act together, this guy's fucking out there getting his ass kicked somewhere in Persia, and is doing badass shit before the Romans have even managed to figure out how to fucking make their peninsula theirs. I mean, it's a good story. Fucking copy it. I mean, yes, it's like I said, I've read it now at least 4 or 5 times in other books, and because people like the idea of, oh shit's gone wrong. We're badasses. Somehow we need to get our. And most GMs, we've all told the story too, without realizing it. But because it's one of those integral myths that you've probably heard it, you've probably watched it, you've never probably seen where it came from, which is okay. It's okay, but no. And of all the retellings, I really like The Last Centurion because it's a damn good book. And like, if you want a bunch of desperate Americans who are fucking just shooting missiles at everybody and running away as fast as humanly possible, while everyone else is going, it's like, and because the humor in it is just fucking brilliant. It's like, because periodically he'll be like I'm gonna go talk to my superior. Superior goes, "You're fucked." Well, shit. I guess I need to go do some more shit now. Like, yeah, you go do. And it's like, it's, it just shows it's an alternate world. Like, it's an alternate world where congratulations, we didn't. Remember, this book was written in 2008, so it doesn't. It's written in 2008, but it takes place in 2019, in 2020, 22, and 21. It didn't know the world that we actually were going to have, but it somehow spells out the world that we went through almost if one or two things had just gone differently. And it's a great book. And considering the shit that we fucking did, that we had to watch historically happen, and then you watch what this guy has to go through, and you go, oh, we came really close to this shit actually happening, didn't we? Yeah. So there's a point where when I said during the plague, when everything was going to shit, the Americans fucking ran, just like pulled back because, hey, look, 30 to 40% of the world population is dead. We don't got the people to fucking continue to do this shit, but we can't just abandon all our hardware. And this poor guy gets stuck watching over pretty much the entire American Iraqi stockpile that's left over, assuming that we didn't have the pullout that we had historically, because at the time that it was written, he didn't know about the fact that we were going to pull out. But oh wait, if we watch what happened, what did we do in Afghanistan? Leave a bunch of our shit behind. We left all our shit behind. What was that?
Billions of dollars left behind in fucking Afghanistan.
Billions of dollars of shit. And we left billions of dollars of shit in Iraq. We just left piles of shit everywhere. And this poor guy is sitting here, and he was given the horrible task of going, we're going to come back for you, but we need somebody to watch over this giant pile of hardware. And him and his small little band of his little company of dudes is going, we can't fucking do this. And shit goes wrong from there. And then the guy's like, well, he's running his ass away, trying to find somewhere to be safe. As shit goes, and he does, and he's a damn good character. He fucking pulls fucking top notch shit, like shit that you think player characters would fucking do. And if you were running like Twilight 2000, and you were told, here's an entire division's worth of shit, it's yours, and you gotta watch it. Here's your 100 dudes. Watch the entire division's hardware. And you go, motherfucker. And meanwhile, the world is collapsing around you. And there's no airplanes. There's no flight. There's no Navy. The Navy's been tasked back. The Air Force is tasked back. There's nobody. Everybody went home except you. Except you and your friends. You get stuck with this giant pile of shit. And there's several points in the book where he's just looking at this great, massive pile of shit and goes, you know what? I could start my own empire. I could start my own empire here. I hear in the Fertile Crescents. I could restart Babylon. You know what? I can do it. I got the hardware. I'll just make friends with the locals. I'll just give them all the fucking firepower. We'll just build our own fucking empire. I will set down my shield and go take a barbarian wife. There'll be a new tribe of American Arabs out here, American Persians out here in the fucking desert, and I will be happy and farm here. Most of the people here are dead anyway, and I'm a farmer. I'll just, you know what? I can take an engine out of one of those trucks and put it in a tractor, and I'll have a bitchin' tractor on gasoline, and I'll just plow fields. Fuck, I'll just pull out, I can do this. And, because he's thinking about it. He's thinking about the idea of, I can just give up. I can just give up. But he's like, fuck it, no, I'm going to go do the fucking right thing. And he completes the march. And it's a great fucking story. Meanwhile, it's detailing the idea of, well, it's in the middle of an emergency. The economy's collapsed. Things are going wrong. And there's a Democrat in power. Oh, wait, the Democrat in power is an idiot. Is a fucking idiot. And is trying to nationalize things and trying to do all this shit. And the economy is coming apart. And people are dying. There's not enough food. There's not enough anything. Things are going from bad to worse, and the president is crazy. Does this sound familiar to you? As in, the president is a babbling idiot, and is being insulated and completely isolated, and isn't doing anything right, and in fact is trying to rig elections at one point in the book. And shit, oh wow, and the urban centers are collapsing due to the fact that they're not getting enough food, and the government is not doing shit because they want to keep the little Brown brothers happy. Does this shit sound familiar? Yes.
Hey, I'm Darth Barbarian. How you doing, sir?
It's like I said. This is like if you have my persuade, like we get along well enough that I think if you listen to this book, by the end of it, you're like, yeah, this is a damn good book. This is a fucking damn good book. I bought an audio book and then I went and found it in paperback because I wanted to actually have a copy. So that way, in the event that I somehow, and by the end of this book, you will know more about biological problems, logistics problems, and farming, and the problems with farming that you'll ever want to know. Because like half the book is him just talking about farming in a way that makes you actually go, no, I actually want to keep talking, sir. I want to know more about farming. I want to know more about predictions and how farmers operate, because one of the common themes about the entire book is that farmers are planners, and that because he's a farmer, he plans ahead, way ahead. And it's fun. Like I said, if a Ringo book is fun, no matter what, and no matter how stupid it is, they are fun. He's a fun author, and just you're not going to go wrong reading his books. I know that it's like, oh, but I like certain other authors, and just fucking read it. If you like military fiction, if you like zombies, Dark Tide Rising series, To Sail Under a Graveyard Sky, fucking great book. The way it opens, the way that it's a slow motion collapse. You watch the collapse happen. It isn't just simply, and then one day the Umbrella Corporation unleashed the virus, and then society falls. No, it's a slow motion collapse. You get to see people fighting. Not, but not like I pull out a knife and a gun and I go out and fight. No, it's they're trying their best to keep everything running. And because modern society is hard to break, but when it breaks fast. And like in one of the books, it refers to it as the America is the turbine of the world. We are the driving force of the economy. When we break, it fucking breaks amazingly. But it's resilient to a certain point. But there's a great theme that happens through both the Dark Tide Rising series through the entire and through Last Centurions is that people in high trust societies are naturally going to come to help each other. It's something that we do. That when everything hits the fan, people reach out for other people. The selfish ones die quick, they die alone, and they get, and they're not a problem. They're a problem for a short amount of time, but the problem solves itself. Usually they die in a hole by themselves, forgotten, and nobody will know who you were, and you'll be gone. But the people who survive the worst of everything is going to be the people who know how to find other people and reach out to them and to help them, to work with them and build and rebuild. It won't be the world that we had before. It will never be the world we had before, but it will be a new world. And he even reminds people that at one point humanity was reduced to less than a tiny amount of breeding pairs and somehow we managed to come back from near extinction to 6 billion people. So even if we lose 70, 80% of the population, it may be the end of the world that we know, but it won't be the end of humanity. And that was the entire point, is the idea that it's humanity's triumph. And even the legacy of the Aldenata series is humanity, even when pushed to the near breaking point, still can survive, still can thrive and rebuild. It's a great story. It's the common theme through most of his books, is that through line, is that humanity is ultimately not selfish. It actually works. It tries. And the people who don't will die off. The people who do tend to be the ones who know how to find other people to grab and pull up onto the boat with you. And so that is it's a nice theme. It fits through all the books. And I also, because of that, I kind of have I hate to say that this is a tangent. This is a horrible tangent. Now, not really, but it's like Last Centurion is 30 to 50% casualties, some points upwards to 70 to 80% dead by primary and secondary sources. Primary is the virus, secondary is the collapse of the food and water systems, the collapse of medical. Secondary aspects, like you didn't have enough food, enough heat, enough power, you just died because you didn't have medicine. Secondary effects of a death. And he highlights the idea that civilizations can usually ride out a 30% casualty rate. I just kind of want to remind people that 30% is, at least for the United States, somewhere around 100 million dead. And we would be able to pull through. But yet we freak out at the idea of 1 million people died. That's not even a percent yet. We haven't even hit I know I'm cold. I know I'm heartless by saying that. But 1 million people is not fucking a number. That's still a rounding error. I know 1 million people sounds like a lot of people, but that's if I put 300 people in a room and take one away. Would you even notice? Not really. But people are like, oh no, 10,000 people died. Who fucking gives a shit? Well, each person is an expendable act. I know each person's loss is a tragedy, but it's still a rounding error. If you look at, like, I know it might be somebody you care about, but you know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. You can't, like, well, we could stop it. No, can you? Would you? Have you? Probably not. Most of us are too busy trying to go through our own fucking useless lives, trying to survive our miserable existence. It's a rounding error. Call me when we hit 10 million. What? 10 million, and now it's a percent. It's a solid percent. What? Oh man. And when I told somebody that, they were like, "You're the most heartless person I know." And I'm like, "Well, no, I'm just a cold, analytical person. Maybe I am heartless, but it's just the simple truth that we can push through. We can keep going. It's not that bad. But it's terrible. I know. Dead people are dead people. Whatever. Yeah, whatever. So, sorry, I'm ending on that downer.
I actually think that is almost a perfect spot to end for tonight, because there's some other things I want to talk to you about in your campaign setting, but I want to give a break of 2 weeks for you to get your thoughts together on that and put a few words down before we get back into that again.
If you got any directions or things you want to know, please ask. I will happily throw anything you want at me.
This is something that we all need to understand. There's a difference between heartlessness and logic.
I'm a pragmatic person. I'm ultimately at my core pragmatic. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but yes, there's a cold logic to it. I can't freak out about it. It just simply, you just have to go through it. You just got to go.
Well, the thing is that this is kind of like our discussions are more like a fan or a fandom stream where we talk about the things we really like, or like we might vent about something we don't like for 6 minutes, but then we'll talk 2 hours on something we can't wait to put our face in again.
Yes.
And I appreciate that so very much, because like this week just kind of sucked for me on a lot of levels. Like Tuesday, I tried taking off for work, and my fucking cab of my truck, like I caught had a brake shoe that decided, well, I'm just gonna like completely seize up and cause a fire here. So I had to get that towed back without the trailer, and all sorts of fun happened with that. And we discussed things at work about how to fix things like this, and it just like, okay, well, can I fix that on the road? Well, no, you don't, because you're not supposed to have that tool with you. Okay, so whenever this happens again for anybody, we just call for a tow truck. Yep. Well, yeah, I guess, because fuck, you have to call a tow truck. Okay, so how could I prevent this? Oh, you would have never known. And that's true, because when I left the yard, it was fine. But then after I left the fuel depot, for some odd reason, it was dragging for about maybe a minute. And then I didn't notice it had kind of still locked up, but it was spinning to where, like, okay, well, it's doing what it's supposed to, I guess. And 2 miles down the road, it's red hot. It completely catches on fire. And oh, fuck me. I thought, well, if I give it an hour, will it cool down enough for me to move it? No. I found out, no, it won't. And I was happy. No, I have a fucking jetter with a fucking 300-gallon tank on my truck, and I can open it up and cool things down. If I did that, I would have shattered things. I would have broke things. So I didn't do that. And because I was reading the internet for like 40 minutes while I was waiting for things to cool down, and it doesn't cool down fast. like when you have grease dripping on your tires and brake shoe and all that, it just compounds things more. And I didn't realize I had like a bit of fucking fifth wheel grease going on my fucking brake shoe. This was on the tractor, not the trailer. Things went downhill very fast that day. The next day, I got a replacement truck, and the replacement truck was just almost as bad. So I took that back, and we still got some stuff done. Not nearly enough. Thursday and Friday, fucking success days. Like I actually cleared 18,000 gallons of grease on those 2 days combined. So that was pretty good. But I had to have like a fucking discussion with one of our regionals, and I gave him the dissertation of what happened, and this really isn't your fault. I don't know why we're talking. I'm like, I don't know. Did he's like, well, okay, well, I can see why we're talking. Your perspective. You're not completely hired on. You're just you're considered still prospective employee because we haven't hit your 90 days yet. Okay, this is just procedural. Okay, that's fine. What else can I do to help you, sir? With that attitude, really just go back and go do stuff. So, I mean, we like I said, this stream and the game stream before it, absolutely integral to my mental health.
Oh yeah.
And with things outside of my control, like Brandon Herrera losing to incumbent Tony Gonzalez, who, we have open primaries in Texas. So if Democrats are told, hey, we don't want this shitlord getting his way, like they will vote with the fucking party establishment to make sure we get stuck with some shithead like Tony Gonzalez, Ernest Gonzalez, or Greg Abbott. And neither of those are winning combinations in my opinion, but
nope,
what we're stuck with. So hey, I guess I just smile and be like, well, as long as you don't have any real communists come along in the Democrat Party, I guess we're kind of okay. We're kind of on the same pathway as America was while we had George Bush Jr., the little fucking. Anyway, I'll shut up now. But
no, don't worry, I understand.
But I think we had a fairly fucking objective stream because I wanted you to talk about what made your world so fucking cool, and you got into it, and you kind of you don't know where you're wanting to go next. If you want to focus somewhere, focus on some of these heroes that some of these regular people that stepped up to become heroes in your campaign world. Start with that, and then go into some of their motivations and what made them the people they are today. And then after that, let's get into the villains.
That's one thing I never got into that story was actually who was behind everything.
I want to know about the fucking organizations. I want to know about the magocracy. I want to know why they are so fucking militant on mages and forcing everybody to kowtow to their dictum, their dictates. If you can cast a fucking cantrip, we need to have like 17 pages of bureaucracy on you, and then get into the tech, because it feels like your world is very steampunk friendly. Like,
oh yes, it is.
We're done with fucking medieval Europe. We are now focusing on, like, you guys are almost at the point where we have locomotives and rail traffic, but where that tech is not quite attainable, we have alchemists over here, we have magicians over here, and we have artificers. So we can make this work. And you have like 40 years that as a GM, as a campaign crafter, there's 40 years that you could detail of the here and now of what's going on with your campaign world before you guys get out of steam and get into something even more recognizable, an age of petroleum fired engines, and eventually, like, what's the magical equivalency to a nuclear society?
Already hit that point and then fell backwards. That's the one thing I do like. I want to admit that I kind of take a bit of the traveler approach of there is no universal tech level. Like much like how Traveler has every system that You can go to a system that one system has tech level 16. Its neighboring systems are has some 14s. You do 2 jumps and you see a 13, a 12, another jump, and here's another 14. A jump, you're back down to a tech level 9. If I could figure out how to do it right, what I would kind of want to actually, because what I actually have in the world is this world did see a modern world, a modern age where we did have cities of glass and steel, and there were magical technology, where people had actually cracked the code to magic. So it wasn't just simply, for a while there, it was the technocratic union's dream in certain parts of the world, and it was starting to pacify, and then things went wrong. Somebody rewrote rules. So there's still people out there who, you're right, I should sit down and actually go, no, this is how they developed steam engines. This is how they developed magical powered machinery. There were cities that flew. In the story that you read, that special forces team, those four SF guys who were bitching about the fact that their really sweet ride crashed. They had a very, very beautiful, high-tech, magically powered airship that was fast, it was stealthy, it was able to do so much cool stuff. And then the anti-magic pulse hits. And, well, their wonderful, beautiful ride, it's irreplaceable because nobody knows how to maintain it anymore, crashes because, well, it was an entirely magical device that entirely ran off of magical levitations and flight equipment. It was a wonderful device. It was perfect for this commando team, and then it has no power, and then it falls out of the sky like a goddamn brick and is wrecked because the pulse happened. And now their ridiculously sweet Special Forces Commando PC ride is on fire because it's now destroyed. And that's why they were bitching about as these guys were having to carry all their shit and hoof it across the countryside, out in the wilderness, going, okay, we crashed somewhere nearby, we'll just somehow get close to, and wait, are you hearing that? Is that sound like gunfire? This close to here? We shouldn't be hearing that. Fuck. I guess I gotta do our jobs. And that's the kind of thing. So yes, I do want to show what I do want to go into and saying, hey, do you want to know what a TL-16 magical ship looks like? It sure the fuck ain't a flying sailing ship. I'll guarantee you that. As people are like, my universe has got airships. They are flying Age of Sail vessels. And meanwhile, I'm going, what? No. We can do better. We can do so much better. But we have the spell we have the fly spell. Fly is a wonderful spell. And I'm like, that is a slow as fuck speed. What do you mean? It's fast. It's speed 60. I could fly at speed 60. And that'll get me. And I'm like going, not that fast. But why would I need a train? I've got magic. I can teleport. Why do I need a train? How much can you teleport with? Well, me and whatever I could carry, up to 100 pounds up to 100 pounds. So me and my 12 friends, we can all transport with 100 pounds each. That's 1,200 pounds of cargo we can carry. I built a locomotive that can pull approximately 2,000 tons of material. You have to teleport like a complete bitch. Fuck you, you magical goddamn cunt. You have to teleport several thousand times to do what I can do in approximately 3 days. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. My train can do that 1,000-mile teleport. I'm a mage. I can do 1,000 miles. I'm fantastic. The train does 80 miles per hour every hour for fucking ever, and it's pulling 2,000 tons. Note the tons of freight. Oh, but you got to spend money, and I can trust me. The cost of investment to return on investment is far better than your fucking mage ass. Well, I can fly. You know what? I'm going to develop a thing that has propellers. Well, I can fly at 60. If I go really, really fast and then cast haste on myself, I can get my speed up to fast, really fast. At which point I'm like, and the Zeppelin goes faster than you. Wait, what? I've built a boat. The boat does 15 knots. It outruns you. What? It's a boat. It sails. It's faster than your flight. No. It's a clipper ship. It's a Yankee clipper. It's a T clipper. It's faster than your flight spell. And it's on water. Wait, no. Flight is better. I can just go wherever I want because I have flight. Excuse me. I'm going to go build a glider, and then I'm going to put two items on it that two of those little winds, those magical items that create gusts of wind that can blow people about. I'm going to put 2 of those on a glider, and now I'm faster than your flight spell. And I don't have to worry about, no. And now I can figure out how, well, if that was a good start, how could I improve that? How can I make this bigger, better, faster, more efficient? Because people think like this. And, well, no, magic will just outdo everything. No one needs to have anything that will ever be better than a wizard. Except for the fact that I don't have a lot of wizards. How long do I have? Hey, how long do I need to train a wizard to cast teleport? Well, and how much I gotta pay you to make teleport? Fuck. Yeah, for the amount of I'm going to go pay someone to go build me a primitive airship or a glider now, and then I'm going to improve it because I can build 20 of these before I can get a new wizard to replace your happy ass after I throw you out a window. Magic superior. You're right, it is. But I only have 5 wizards. And I need more. Excuse me, while I shackle you to this desk. Why? I'm a wizard. I'm going to block you out for the next 3 years. You will have no free will for the next 3 years. I've blocked your time. But no, you're fucking mine. I'm a wizard. I'm a cleric. I can make all diseases and I'm sorry, you're like nationalized public health care. You're only good for 5 fucking heals a goddamn day. Well, that's good enough for this village. This village do you know what the accident rate of most towns of 10,000 people really are like? I can do it. Okay, are you going to do this every day, day in, day out for this town of 30,000 people? Blah, 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 blah. No. We're going to need people who know how to do surgery, do basic medical care, first aid, medicines, things. But the gods, healing. I've gotten divine magic in. Fuck your god. Your god isn't covered by my HMO. My insurance isn't covered by divine intervention. Sorry, fuck you. But healing magic's so awesome, it's so plentiful, and it's actually kind of worthless. I can cure diseases. And what happens when you encounter the first magically resistant disease? What? Magic. Magic solves. There's no need for anything. We all have magic. Magic is everything. Magic is. You're all a bunch of fucking cunts for depending on magic. Fuck you. Everyone needs a first aid kit. Everyone needs an alchemist. Everyone needs shit that gives them fucking ways to survive. I'm sorry. Everybody gets to carry a tourniquet with them. God damn it, and a first aid kit. It's just in your fucking backpack. Just carry it. Just take the skill, get the skill, and carry it. Why? Just trust me. Your healer will fucking love you. Why? Because you stopped the bleeding. Guess what? Oh no. 5 people are bleeding due to the fact that the bad guy uses bleeding attacks. Oh man. Isn't it great that all of us know how to stop bleeding? That's great. We don't have to sit there and go, I'm dying. Sheila, come and help me. I'm bleeding. Help. I'm a stupid civilian. Help me. You're an adventurer. Rub some dirt in it. I'm going to bleed out in 12 rounds. I fucking hate most people.
You're completely within your vile hatred of it. Trust me.
It can turn into that. The thing here is that now here's the thing. The transitional logic that gets you from airships to jets takes time. It takes a lot of time. I mean, oh God, yeah. Shells back here, reference material. Because while I am a steampunk person and I really do love doing steampunky things, I do want to have the transition, the actual evolution and transition from certain ideas into certain ideas. You cannot make the jump from sailing ship to dreadnought without anything in between. You need to have at least a logical progression on how you went from nothing to big. You gotta because when it comes to sailing ships, you have to have the evolution that went from why does your ship have a forecastle? Why does it have, at what point did somebody go, we can add a deck in there and turn it into a 2-decker? What point did somebody go, we can put a 3rd deck in? What point did somebody say we can cut we can cut parts off and turn it into a frigate or a sloop? At which point did someone go, hey, look, I've created a golem whose entire job is to crank a fucking paddle. And yes, the side paddle wheeler has been around since at least we have drawings in China from at least the early first millennium. We have drawings from the Middle Ages of people with the idea of, hey, hand cranked paddles work. We had boats that were paddle wheelers driven by horses in the age that we would normally have D&D characters running around. So we have the ability to, if somebody just goes, I create a golem, an iron golem with no legs, who's got arms, and his only job is to sit there and row. And suddenly you have a trimeme, a bireme or a trireme that has perpetual locomotion. You can have the paddle wheeler that is running continuously. Well, at that point, you're like, how much of the golem do I need to have it functioning as a golem? Can I just have a block with an arm on it? Suddenly, you have what is in essence a magical steam engine, because that's what a piston is simply the arm that rotates and does the thing and makes the motion work. And suddenly you now have, oh hey look, we're now playing fantasy, and a side paddle wheeler rolls up. Well, now you can ask the question, how many side paddles can I put on? And wait, there's an item that third edition put out. Oh my god, it's a magical wheel. It's a magical wheel that comes in pairs. You put them on an axle, and suddenly the wagon is now self-propelled. It's not even that expensive. It's actually pretty cheap. It's out of one of the other books. I've got it somewhere stashed away. But suddenly, if you ask the question of, wait, so what's the current item? What's those wheels have for their rated load? How much weight can they pull? What's their torque rating? So if I put a wagon that's fully loaded with 1 ton, so these 2 wheels can pull 2 people plus 2,000 pounds of weight. So that gives me this much weight plus the wagon's actual weight. So it's about it's a little over 1.5 tons of power off of these 2 wheels, right? Okay, cool. Can I start doing calculations for how to turn these wheels into how much of the wheels if I just have an axle with these 2 wheels attached to it, will it turn? You start working through this thing, and suddenly you go, wait, I can build a pretty decent machine. I can build a pretty decent vehicle. I can it's got 4-wheel drive. Now suddenly you got people who most GMs. I don't know. You can't do that. You can't logically think. You can't have the evolution. This is why when I know that people are sitting here oh my god, singularity powered Chevelle. Yes, I love that. But this is why you can't make if you can this is why it's so important to know what can do what. So that way you can have somebody go and improve. You cannot make the jump, as much as I would like to say yes, from lawnmower engines spinning a 2 props behind a pusher kite that flies 300 feet, and then say I have the engines for an F-22 Raptor. You don't make that transition. I cannot get a primitive steam engine that makes a little toot boat go down a river, suddenly be able to pull. I'm not going to go from that to diesel locomotives instantly. If I can, and yes, I've been trying to figure out for a very long time, how much heat does heat metal create? Because it says it goes to certain heat temperatures, and trying to figure out, okay, so because the ultimate idea of what's a nuclear so at that point, and having GMs go, no, you can't do that. That's but the thing here is that permanent, because remember, the old permanency spell states that anything that's got a duration can be made permanent. So you can cast heat metal on a block of a certain mass, and you just figure out where the limit is. You make a block that's that big, you cast heat metal, and then cast permanence on it. Now you have a perpetually whatever color, I forgot whatever heat metal tops out at. It's like what, red hot or white hot? I forgot how hot it gets, but it gets hot, and it gets well past the I boil water stage, because remember, all things that human technology does is meant to boil water. And then at that point, it's like, well, okay, so what's the heat exchange rate between block of heat, 200-pound block of 50-pound block of iron, going to go with a full plate, full plate armor weight. So 50-pound block of steel suddenly goes, okay, it goes to that heat. What's the transfer rate of heat from block to boiling vessel? Okay, Okay, it might, like, at this point, your GM's gonna go, iron can't do that sustained well. Well, at this point, you've now given the GM, the player, motivation to now learn metallurgy. Oh, pig iron and cast iron isn't going to be good enough because the pressures are going to be bad. Maybe I need to learn how to forge better iron, make better steel, make better equipment, start working and improving, because you can't make the jump from pig iron to high pressure steel. You don't make the jump from that to German techno wizardry high pressure steam plant, aka why the Prince Eugen didn't work as soon as it was handed over to Americans, because Americans went, what the fuck is this? Mind you, the Americans understand high pressure steam very, very well. I understand high pressure steam very, very well. Look at our battleships, look at our carriers. We understand high pressure steam. But then they looked at the Germans and went, what the fuck is this shit? And then promptly sank it with a nuclear bomb, because we can't fucking make it work, because fucking Kraut magic is goddamn being used here. You can't make the transition. And that's kind of what parts of my world are like, is that somebody got their hands on somebody else's high technology equipment, high magic shit, and then looked at it and went, how the fuck do you run this? At one point, somebody got their hands on somebody else's tech. They went into the engine room, and all they saw, as I described it to them, was a new age hippie's wet dream.
Yeah.
And they were like, because they came in thinking it was going to be all this high tech techno wizardry shit, and then they walked in and found fucking crystals everywhere. Glowing crystals and ambient humming everywhere, and weird patterns and runes etched into everything. And they went, and I watched that character promptly turn around, walk out of the room, shut the door, and look at the rest of the party and goes, I can't run this. This is bullshit. And like, so we can't run it? They go, no, I just can't fix it. We can drive it, we just can't fix it when it breaks. And like, what? It's all crystals in there. And he just showed him the room of quartz and weird gems glowing in there in weird brass contraptions. And he's like, I don't know how any of this shit works, man. So the moment this thing breaks, we fucking throw it in the dumpster. And then one player goes, we loot the engine room. For what? Resurrection fund. It says we need this many gems of X value. I think we can resurrect at least 2-3 people off this engine room. And they're like, yes. We drive it till we break, and then we resurrect people after it breaks. Perfect. And that's the crazy shit. Yes! Don't forget your PPE. And
that statement in and of itself could be so universal for anything. Don't forget your PPE.
It was a running gag in my campaign for a long time that every single government agency and major organization had OSHA that they had to deal with. So everywhere had a fire escape plan map on every floor. So it's like they knew where all the exits were. They knew where all the fire extinguishers were at. None of the rooms were labeled, but they at least had a map to every floor. Why? Because everyone wants to be able to get their people out. When shit goes wrong, idiots freak out, and you need to have a map to tell them, hey, see the big hallway? Head down towards the door with the big glowy sign that says exit on it. Written in various runes or various languages, but they all have the same message. You see the box that has red letters? That's probably the way out. And nobody traps where the fuck they work or live. Yeah, okay. After hours, you trap it. You turn security on. But during business hours, you don't fucking do that. I'm sorry. You don't need Klaus carrying a bunch of files, from one room to the next, and he accidentally hits the giant marble trap, and Klaus and all his paperwork explodes. And now you're like he was our fucking accountant. Shit. He had the quarterly. He was the only one who could understand the quarterly reports. We're fucked. Why? Klaus is dead. Why? The pit trap got him. Ugh. Why did we even install the pit trap? And you had that one guy, because I thought it was a cool idea. That's why I installed the pit trap. Okay, go scrape Klaus off the bottom of the wall and send him down to medical to get resurrected. And also, Bob, yeah, you're fired. For what? Putting in a pit trap. I mean, that was the kind of lot. If anything, I ran a world that people lived in, that people worked in. There was an economy that works because people went in and did their jobs from day in to day out. It's like very rarely would the players go into, you have entered into the ruins of Death Kilgore Landmore. It is a death trap dungeon. It is built by a crazed wizard. The closest to a crazed wizard is simply sitting here going, "Ha ha! I have built an entire tower. It's 25 stories tall and no elevator." That's like the closest thing to a crazy wizard that anyone would get away with, because of the fact that most people go, "Do you want to fucking work here?" No, my office is on floor 25, and I have to first go up the staircase, find the 3 keys, unlock the goat's head to uncover the hidden staircase, so I can go crawl up to the next floor, jump over 3 traps, fight the mimic. Then I gotta go and activate the 4 puzzle pieces that are in 4 different picture puzzle rooms, so I can get to the next floor, so I can just get to my office. Don't even ask what I gotta do to go to the bathroom or take a lunch break. Oh, wow, this place sucks. Nobody wants to work here. Nothing will get done. Man, I would love to continue to forge this sword of ultimate death and destruction, but I gotta swing across a pit of lava and fight 14 ooze eels, just to get to the forge and to the break room. And you know what? I know the Doritos are only 2 silver a fucking bag, and you can get Monster out of the fucking vending machine for only a copper, but it ain't fucking worth it. I'm fucking out. I'm fucking done. I'm 2 weeks notice. I'm out. Fuck it. 2-minute notice. I'm done. And the evil overlord. Where are you going? I'm leaving. I'm done. My apprentice died. To what? The buzzsaw traps in the parking lot. I mean, he just parked his horse and he got off his horse and the buzzsaws got him. I can't work without an apprentice. Fuck you. Your staffing sucks. This whole place sucks. I'm done. No. And after a while, the world kind of gets this idea of people actually have to live in it. It can't just simply be. It can't be Skyrim. The Umbrella Corp has entered the chat, and you know what? Umbrella Corp tends to, in a world where things actually make sense, or where I do have other corporations that are actually as powerful. Where if you really want to get into it, there's certain parts of my world where if you want to play more magical cyberpunk / Shadowrun, where there are actually mega corporations who are all out to murder each other. Umbrella Corp doesn't really last very long when you have a cleric who can turn undead. We have a zombie virus. We're unleashing the zombies. 3 fucking clerics walk in there, start channeling, and like, the city is. Our plan kind of sucks now, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Oh. Unleash our flesh golem! Go! The monster. I have a Gatling gun. And it's like at that point, people are just like, "Well, I guess it's fucking Tuesday. It's fucking go time." And and like, I see the Umbrella Corporation has unleashed their and their ultimate biological monster with a Gatling gun. Quick, unleash our monster. At which point, some actual real troll walks out with cyberware. He's just like, "I'm gonna fuck you," and it's like the big giant evil monster's like, "What?" And the troll, "All right, now I'm going to go hit all these alchemy potions," and like it's like a fucking juicer from fucking Riffs. Poof! No! Oh shit! Oh shit! And suddenly meanwhile all the big hookers like, "Oh, that's fucking good. That's some fucking good shit there, man. We need to do that. How much does that? Get us some plans for that. I want a troll who just turns 4 times bigger than this. Screw this! I got a forklift. I'm certified. I'm out. Yes. Go clouse somebody on your way out."
That forklift certification never got me laid when I was a young man.
Hey, look, if you're forklift certified, you are the best person in the entire organization. The OSHA guy walks in, adjust fork height, and commence attitude adjustment of OSHA guy.
I want to thank everybody who came in tonight for this session.
Yep.
Me and Kai are gonna laugh our asses off a little bit behind the scenes, a little bit, and I just gotta say, Kai has got a hell of a little system here. It's not written with a campaign, quote unquote, in mind, but it's done very fucking well. And campaigns should be transparent, in my opinion. The mechanics should be transparent because his story here has got a lot of oomph to it. You don't get a lot of oomph usually.
If you want to read it, just message me on Discord, and I'll send you a copy. So that way you can figure out what I've been rambling about for the last 2 hours.
I want to know more about the heroes. I want to know more about the villains. I think those two could cover chapters that are the size of this.
I can do that. Trust me. There's a lot of heroes. Boy, there are a lot of heroes. And a lot of villains, too. And most of them are quirky as fuck because you got to remember, this is a world that has heroes, and they're weird. They're not quite and they're definitely, most of them definitely aren't safe for work. They're definitely going to not pass the bar for family friendly. So like I said, if you want to read this, just message me. I will happily send it to you. I'm not going to just post it on the like, "Here, steal my work." No. At least ask first, so I know who I've given it to. So when it gets leaked to the internet, I know who to chase.
With that being said, I'm looking forward to the continuation of what he's got. Also looking forward to me finishing up the domains and clerics, gods of the campaign world that I support. Actually, I won't even need that. I just need to do to finish the domains. And then once I do that, I can work on the marshals. And that'll be a lot of fun. My name is Bruce Lombardo. I appreciate everybody stopping by today. We did over 9 hours of streaming today from this tower unit. For those of you that are interested, we do a weekly stream on Saturdays. Every other week, it's me and Kai after the evening ends, about 9 to roughly about this time. And we look forward to seeing each and every one of you, if you so choose to listen to us ramble about the things we enjoy. Kai, you want to lead us out tonight, sir?
Go find some books to read. Just read. Listen. I don't care if it's audio form or dead tree format. Just fucking enjoy some more books. Just do it. It's good for you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Kai.